Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Josh Shigala from thestandard.io.
Guten Morgen.
Arthur Van Pelt, fake Satoshi researcher. Oh, got it.
You're on mute. Good night. Thank you for having me.
Martine Wishmayer from General Bytes.
What's up, guys?
Dan Eve, the Crypto Raptor.
Hola, señorita Bitcoiners.
Ben Ark, Roman, and Jay Deluxe, live from Frankfurt and Make Europe.
Guten evening, guten Morgen, guten Tag. Hello.
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue 1, Jack Dorsey. Fresh off winning last week's coveted Bitcoiner of the Year award, Jack Dorsey is wasting no time in proving why he was celebrated by the Bitcoin Group. Jack Dorsey's new company Block is working to decentralize Bitcoin mining, perhaps even committing to making their own ASIC. And Jack Dorsey is payrolling, he's bankrolling Bitcoin developers, including the ones sued by Bitcoin founder Craig Wright. Joshua Shigala, what about Jack Dorsey and his exciting new Bitcoin offerings?
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I'm not a big fan of, lauding big people because they're wealthy. And I like Jack because he's, obviously he's done some successful things. I'm not sure. It's a really interesting move that he's moved away from Twitter. I think there was some other pressures about the whole censoring everything. The censorship's gone even higher since he left. So I'm not sure what he's going to do. Part of Bitcoin is uncensorability and letting good old-fashioned police work do the work instead of centralized authority from one place and one jurisdiction. I don't know how he's going to decentralize Bitcoin mining. It's pretty decentralized already. Sure, it's a scale, so we'll see. Maybe it's too centralized in a way, but I think ASICs as well becoming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and not being able to go exponentially up anymore in terms of efficiency. It's already starting to become commoditized, and so yeah, let's see what he does.
Well, as you all know, Jack Dorsey is new to Bitcoin. Therefore, he's here to fix it. It's a good time to push the thumbs up button. I think if everyone pushed the thumbs up early, like 100%, like everyone who's like, I never pushed the thumbs up button, that's not something I do. I think if YouTube saw that, they would be like, oh my gosh, so many people push thumbs up at the beginning of this video. It must be a good video. And they would recommend it to other people. That's just my theory. You guys can test it out if you want by pushing thumbs up at home.
Summit.
Arthur Van Pelt, your thoughts about Jack Dorsey's incredible new developments?
Yeah, especially for the first news, Joshua already said enough, but let me focus on the second news about funding the Bitcoin developers. Allow me to explain a little bit what it is about. It's one of the cases where Craig Wright is involved. We call it the pineapple hack case, because Craig claims that with a pineapple Wi-Fi device, he was hacked in early 2020, and they stole roughly 110,000 Bitcoin from him. One of the addresses involved was the one Feeks address, which is a well-known Bitcoin address related to a Mt. Gox hack in 2011. But anyway, he claims it's his, and of course it isn't. But to cut a long story short, he is suing the Bitcoin developers because they should help him recover those 80,000 from the one Feeks address and some 30,000 from another address. And he says they owe me the duty of helping me. And that's why he is suing them, and not only suing Bitcoin developers, but also from some altcoins like BSV, in fact, also, and BCH. He is suing some developers, and he's suing Roger Ver also in the same lawsuit. So, but yeah, how far will that go? I don't think very far, at least because the one fixed address is involved, so that he will lose that. But on the other hand,
to show that he doesn't know how Bitcoin works, because the developers could make the change, but everyone running nodes needs to upgrade to that change.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to have the developers on your hand. You have to have all the nodes, and yeah, they think that only the mining nodes matters, but in Bitcoin also the verifying nodes, the full nodes matter a lot, of course. So yeah, he will not get that globally done. Not on the real Bitcoin. Probably on his BSV, his little BSV project, he might get that done. And then it will collapse because who wants a non-fungible token? I mean, duh. But yeah, to get back to this case for this, especially for the Bitcoin developers, because that is the largest group of all the people being sued. It's a group of 16 people in total, and I think 11 or 12 of them are from BTC, from Bitcoin. So yeah, it's a burden for them. Let's be honest. I mean, they feel stressed. A few already left because of the pressure that they felt. So that, yeah, and I think that is a good thing that Jack Dorsey is stepping forward and taking over their financial burden, because make no mistake here, these lawsuits are very, very, very costly. We made estimates that, for example, the climate lawsuit is easily running between 25 to 50 million. The other cases for like Peter McCormack and those lawsuits, easily 1 to 2 million that these people have to pay for running years long of lawsuits against Craig Wright. And that is a bit of his trick. I mean, he has a sugar daddy behind him that is paying all the bills. And then yeah, he can sue everybody who he wants, because let's presume that Calvin Ayre is still a billionaire. He is still willing to show his wallet for Mr. Craig Wright. So yeah, so it's a good thing that Jack Dorsey is doing this.
Yeah, that sounds like what the real Satoshi would do. Threaten the developers, sue them, get them to roll back the chain, change the way that Bitcoin works to get him his money back because he got hacked. That's a very Satoshi level thing to do. And you also have to assume, like Josh said, all of the miners, all of the nodes are going to come on board with this. Everyone's going to be like, no problem. Like, let's get Satoshi back his money. The dude was hacked, you know, especially after he didn't prove it cryptographically and all that. He's been
it's of course it's never going to happen. But yeah, in the meantime, you have 2, 3, 4 years of stress on your back. So these developers, I mean, they're hardworking people. They not always get paid. They are not always being funded properly, and then they have to pay for these type of lawsuits. I mean, when I think it was Vladimir van der Laan who also said, yeah, sorry, I'm not sitting here to have lawsuits on my back. It's stressful. It's not cool.
Well, and this fake Satoshi is really setting a good example to teach other fake Satoshis how to act. Martine Wishmayer, last week you were with us as we discussed the incredible greatness of Jack Dorsey and declared him Bitcoiner of the Year. I believe it was completely unanimous. Everyone was in agreement. And what about now that he's going to solve Bitcoin mining decentralization with a brand new ASIC and fund all the developers? Face it, you just love Jack Dorsey now, right?
I think Jack is cool because he has a beard. For the rest, I think he's done some great work at Twitter. I know Josh isn't very excited because of all the censorship, but he keeps. I think, you know, I don't know what he's going to do with decentralizing mining. I hope it's not let's put miners in light bulbs type of decentralization, because we've seen that in 2013 and 14 and it just didn't work. But from what I understood is there will be open sourced mining chips, which I think is cool because it breaks the current monopolies by just 1 or 2 big mining companies, mining manufacturers. So open sourcing that is a good thing. The mining itself.
The first thing I'm gonna do is look at that source and make a 6 nanometer chip. Yeah.
Well, no, it is currently it's all protected by patents from what I understood. So everybody is trying to like close the ecosystem. So what he does is he'll just break it open. The mining itself, I'm not too sure. I mean, pooled mining as we know it right now was invented in Czech Republic, not Prague, but I believe Brno by Satoshi Labs. The people that make the Trezor wallet, they are also the first ones to create a hardware wallet for Bitcoin. So now, and those are open source. That's all open source. So I don't know what Jack is going to do, but I guess I hope it's not a copy paste and then just put our stamp of approval on it. And this is what you need to buy. But it's basically exactly the same as any Trezor or any the Brains mining pool. So Slush Pool was the first mining pool for me. I think they've got a lot of street cred. Jack has street cred, but from a different perspective, like the social media platforms. So I'm curious. I don't want to dismiss it, but I wanted more info before I can give a real judgment on this.
Yeah, Jack's cred counts on a different street. And I've also heard that he was working on a open source hardware wallet device as well.
Yeah, that's like a Trezor because they are open source. Most of the time, if you find those shitty hardware wallets, like I had one from Archos a while back, that was a one-on-one copy from the Trezor hardware. It was so bad, really. But the software itself, the web interface of the hardware wallet, the Trezor wallet, is not open source. So that's where they said, we didn't make any, just use Electrum. It works with Electrum. So Jack, surprise us. That's what I would say.
He's one of these new people. They're here to save us. They're going to fix all of our problems. And it sounds like he's starting off by just stealing everything that Slush Pool and Trezor did. So we'll see how that turns out. Also with the light bulbs thing, that does remind me a little bit of 21.co that was going to put Bitcoin miners in your toaster and your Wi-Fi device and everywhere in the world.
And Thomas, the reason why that didn't work, and the idea is like, it's a nice idea, but in reality, like the Bitcoin miners use a lot more energy, or your toaster will use a lot more energy when it's mining Bitcoin. So for that to work, you need to basically use thicker wires and everything. You need heavier components in your device. So in return, you make a device which is far more expensive to build than the run-of-the-mill toasters we get from China nowadays. So if people are in the store and they think, I see two toasters, both look cool. One mines Bitcoin, but it's twice the price because more expensive to produce. And the other one is cheap and cheerful, but has the same cool looks. Which one do you buy? I know what I'll buy. I'll buy the cheap and cheerful toaster, and I'll get a proper mining rig.
Oh, but what about the toaster from Red Dwarf with the artificial intelligence built in? Or Rick and Morty with a little butter guy? You cut butter. A brain the size of a planet, and he cuts butter. I can't wait for Jack's device to be here. I'm sure it's going to be as successful as 21.co. Dan, Eve, your thoughts on Jack Dorsey, Bitcoiner of the Year?
I think that the idea is good to help decentralization of Bitcoin. I second what Josh said about the fact that you can open source it, but who's got access to a fabrication process where you can produce 6 nanometer chips, right? It's going to be centralized in some way where there's going to be chip manufacturers, but at least it's going to decentralize it a bit more. But the fact is that, for the average person, I think it would become more accessible if it had almost a secondary usage, right? So a lot of when I was mining, like my girlfriend hated the heat and the noise, especially in summer. So if you could redirect that, like a lot of people are doing now, like heating swimming pools or something like that, then you could even get some eco warriors on board. The fact that they're heating their pool, like I've seen, there's plenty of people doing it now. And one of the biggest things is the fact that and Rootsel pointed this out on Twitter, is their e-waste. And so wouldn't it be cool to make it modular? So like, they've all just, often the Bitcoin miners have followed the same sort of rough design, right? That kind of, cuboid type shape. So if you could swap out the chips and then keep all the rest of the bits, that I think that sounds like quite a cool idea. With regards to the lawsuit, I think people need backing. That as we've covered before, the developers they're not really well funded. It's not like other cryptocurrencies where they just print money out of thin air and they can just they literally make themselves money out of a pre-mine. So providing them with protection from crazy Craig Wright and his sugar daddy. I love that. It's Calvin Ayre. I can just imagine him, Craig Wright, sat on Calvin Ayre's lap going, please, daddy, more money for a lawsuit. But the fact is, like, the lawyer said, our client has always maintained that he created Bitcoin to operate within existing laws in the event of loss or theft, where the legitimate ownership can be proven, the developers have a duty to ensure recovery. No, the whole point was that it can't be, like, confiscated. That's literally against it doesn't make sense. And as you pointed out, you can the developers could change the code, but the miners have then got a signal for it. So that's not going to happen. They're not going to just give away a million Bitcoin. So the whole thing's just
hey, you know what? My hat says, the first block about the bailout for the banks. I'm pretty sure Satoshi's like, oh, it's the Chancellor Brink on Satoshi Brink on bankruptcy, first bailout for Satoshi. Not going to happen.
Yeah, it was a gate. It's the whole point of Bitcoin was to hedge against the infinite money printing and the fact that governments can confiscate your assets. Like this it's the ability to just turn around the code and give Craig his coins is crazy, and it will never happen. So it's just a comedy show. It's just getting unfunny now, right? There's the lawsuits are becoming unfunny, and he should just give up.
I'm looking forward to the headline: Jack installs Bitcoin miners at home, pisses off girlfriend. And let's go to Ben Ark and the Frankfurt crew. What do you think about Jack Dorsey, Bitcoiner of the year?
I mean, they're trying to sue themselves into relevance, aren't they? Him and Calvin Ayre. With the BSV fiasco, they're just kind of trying to continue to keep themselves relevant. When it comes to Jack Dorsey, I mean, good luck. I mean, personally, when it comes to mining, we're outsourcing security to these private companies who aren't part of our cypherpunk ideal. We're just outsourcing to these private companies. They're not part of our, they're not Bitcoiners who we know and hang out with. As long as they can't 51% attackers, then that's fine. I mean, I keep thinking of Blue Sky, this promise that he was going to make a decentralized Twitter, and it hasn't happened. And it's been many years. Me and us a lot in the Nostar community, we're kind of keeping an eye on Blue Sky and hoping that they chip in and start noticing our project. And so far we've had nothing, and not a lot has come from their project as well. So it's very easy to kind of make a promise that you're going to do something, and you have that same endorphin kick as if you were to actually do that thing itself. But I mean, good luck to him. He's got the funds there. I do also have to give props to Roger Ver, funnily enough, because he is actually also, like Jack Dorsey, bankrolling a lot of the opposition to Craig Wright's lawsuits in the background. I know he's with Peter McCormack's lawsuit. He's been helping him out quite a lot. So hopefully this is a sign that Roger will come back to Bitcoin at some point. But so for Jack Dorsey, good luck to him. How about the rest of us?
Craig Wright to me was never a thing. My name is Roman Kessler. I'm from Frankfurt. I organized local make affairs, at least before Corona. And basically what we do here is try to find the right people here. And Craig Dorsey or Craig whatever never really mattered.
Yeah, exactly. He's not relevant.
No, not at all.
Dude.
I mean, he's just a stress.
That crazy Craig Dorsey.
Craig Dorsey. Like the Freudian slip. Jack White and Craig Dorsey.
It's about time they prove who really invented Twitter. Are you guys ready for the exit question? All right, exit question. We're going to do the Bitcoin price because there's not really a price topic this week. So you're competing against the greatest predictor of Bitcoin price in the history of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin predictor ball. Joshua Shigala, will the Bitcoin price be higher or lower this time next week?
It shall be higher.
Arthur Van Pelt, higher or lower?
I agree with Joshua, higher.
Martine Wishmayer, we've got a streak going, higher or lower?
It's definitely going to be a little bit higher. Not too much, but a little bit.
A little bit. Okay. Dan, Eve, and tell us in the chat too. What do you guys think at home? Dan, Eve, higher or lower?
Higher.
And the Frankfurt crew, higher or lower?
Higher. Let's really hope so, because I mean, there's that resistance zone. If we don't go higher, we're screwed.
They all say higher, but what does the ball say? Will the price of Bitcoin be higher this time next week? As I see it, yes. As I see it, yes. The ball has spoken. The price will be higher this time next week. Moving on to issue 2. Issue 2. Is Nayib Bukele the hero that we need? Evidence that the El Salvadorian president has targeted journalists and suppressed free speech contradicts Bitcoin's core values. An interesting piece this week, about a couple of months late, in CoinDesk, suddenly questioning the El Salvadorian dictator after we've already slept with him and given him our Bitcoin bonds and all of our volcano money. Yes, Nayib Bukele, as a simple search of the Wikipedia will tell you, took power and wanted to fund a loan. When the meeting was supposed to occur, he ordered soldiers into the Legislative Assembly to intimidate legislators to approve the loan. The incident, known in El Salvador as 9F, was condemned by the opposition as an attempted self-coup, and the Supreme Court of El Salvador prohibited Bukele from exercising powers not granted in the Constitution. But of course, if you didn't read Wikipedia, you might just be waking up to it in this CoinDesk op-ed that maybe something's not right in the dictatorship of El Salvador. They also say that Bukele's Bitcoin trade raises El Salvador's sovereign credit risk, almost as if he has no choice now but to borrow and get money from the Bitcoiners. And his trading losses may have cost El Salvador $10 million amid the crypto slump. Arthur Van Pelt, what do you think about Nayib Bukele and the perhaps panacea of El Salvador?
No, yeah, to be fair, I was a huge fan of making Bitcoin legal tender, and that was had nothing to do with well, the somewhat shady reputation of El Salvador, because I think a legal tender has to be legal tender in every country. So if it starts in El Salvador, I have really no issues with it. But yeah, of course, these things happening in the sidelines is probably not okay. But I see them separately. Bitcoin is for everyone, and calling out this guy for the things that he did and is still doing should still be done. But on the other hand, I completely support Bitcoin being legal tender there and support the Bitcoin communities there. I'm a user of the Bitcoin Libre wallet, which is, I think, rooted from there and used there a lot. So yeah, what else to say? That's
what I like about Bitcoiners today is that they're open to new possibilities. I remember back in the day when some coffee shop in Hungary would take Bitcoin and we'd be like, yes, we've got the Hungarian coffee shop on 4th Street. Sweet. You can rent skis at this place in Detroit and you can get records in Nashville. Like, we would be so excited. But we have the same thing now, but at the country level. We're like, oh, sweet, the dictatorship of El Salvador accepts us. And oh boy, this other dictatorship. And we've got friends in Iran and Pakistan. And it's starting to look like maybe we're on the no-fly list. So I think Bitcoin needs to choose its friends better. And it needs to understand that you do have the choice. You just have to jump in bed with the first country that comes along. You're like, wow, they're so cool. I'm going to give them all my Bitcoin bonds. And we're going to live in Volcano City happily ever after. Martine Wishmayer, your thoughts about the impressive road to success in Volcano City?
Yeah, about the article, I read the article, and it was about some spyware installed on journalist phones. But to be honest, I'm originally from the Netherlands, and there we are the most tapped country, one of the most tapped countries in the world. Maybe North Korea is higher, but just about everyone is being tapped in the Netherlands, and you don't hear anything about it. So yeah, I don't agree with that. But Bitcoin is for everyone. And politics are for puppets. So, I don't do politics. I just do Bitcoin, and I don't really care about the whole political agenda. That's what Bitcoin is about. Bitcoin was, there was all the libertarians. So we don't want anything to do with politics. And now what we see is that, some president, or you call him a dictator, but he might be somebody else's freedom fighter. You never know, but is embracing Bitcoin. And then we're all of a sudden, we're cheerleading for this person. While in the past, we would have said no, Bitcoin is for everyone. We only cheer for Satoshi. But yeah, it's I don't do politics. I really don't. As I said, they're for puppets, and Bitcoin is for everyone.
Welcome back, ANCAP.
I even saw a great argument on Twitter where the guy was trying to win the argument by saying that El Salvador had government approved Bitcoin. Therefore, now that Bitcoin is government approved, it could solve your problem. Dan, Eve, your thoughts about everyone being into Bitcoin, from Mao to Stalin to Hitler? It's just great to have all these winners on our side.
Yeah, no, I think it's like, I agree with you. Like, back in the old days, it was like, oh, so-and-so's accepting Bitcoin, yay, and it was a huge win, even though it was a tiny place. But now it's El Salvador, and it's got people torn, because it was kind of like, yay, Bitcoin's being accepted as legal tender, whee, at gunpoint, oh. And so it's kind of turned a bit, sadly. But no, the fact they're using like cyber Pegasus software to spy on people is pretty bad. But every government kind of does it. I'm not making excuses or anything, but they all do it. They did change the law, right, so that it's not mandated at gunpoint. Mandated by legal. That was a total slip of the tongue. Mandated legally, right? They did change it so that it's like it's optional. So at least that's kind of.
Well, I can hear the libertarians in the crowd. How else can you mandate things other than by gunpoint? Oh, libertarian humor.
That's it. Yeah, I've been reading too many libertarian things at the moment. Too many libertarian memes.
Mandate is not a law.
But in terms of the Moody's downgrading them and saying, oh, they're risking downgrade because of the credit risk. I mean, obviously Bitcoin prices drop, so everyone's going to jump on El Salvador when the price drops and say it's really bad, blah blah blah. But when the price goes up, they're not going to run articles about how rich El Salvador is. It's always the one way thing. So they're all shaking their heads, like the IMF, like saying we're not going to help you. World Bank saying we've got concerns due to transparency. It's a public ledger. And environmental issues, they're using a volcano to mine. So not much of it makes a huge amount of sense. But I like one thing I do like is Bukele's like he's pretty funny at tweeting. And actually 2 hours ago he tweeted, I think I might have to miss the dip this time. So he seems like a cool character to me.
Well, I wouldn't worry on the financial front. I'm sure he'll make the money back. I'm just worried he might take it out the back door in a suitcase. Let's go to Ben Ark and the Frankfurt crew. Your thoughts on El Salvador? They're not ready, but they look like they're ready. They're unmuted. They're muted.
So when we were there, a lot of the promises which came with Strike and Jack Dorsey and all the remittance stuff and how you can use dollars and it'll be Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that had gone out the window and everyone was using Chivo wallet. And then this Chivo wallet is so incredibly bad. A lot of us started asking questions, and they had this incredible. So the company behind Chivo is this company called Athena, and then you check out the Athena. No one's ever heard of this company called Athena, but they have these incredibly fancy offices in El Salvador, and they have these wrapped cars, and they have all this Athena stuff everywhere. And then there's whispers, okay, well, Athena's owned partly by Bukele's brother, and it's exactly as you expect. If state, particularly an unstable state with an unstable, maybe populist leader, is going to implement and mandate Bitcoin, is exactly as you expect it for them to mandate Bitcoin, and that would be for them to keep the power. So with Chivo wallet, most of the transaction, when you make a transaction from Chivo wallet to Chivo wallet, you're not actually making a Bitcoin transaction or a Lightning transaction. It's a flip in a database. You're just scanning a random QR code. And then you have to go through like a couple of different menus to actually get to Lightning, or a couple of different menus to actually get to on-chain to actually take your funds off. So when there's that promise that they're going to give, $20 worth of Bitcoin to everybody in El Salvador, or however much it ended up working out being, the reality is that most of them haven't withdrawn that money, and it may in fact not actually be there, and it may have not been there to begin with. So until we see more traction when it comes to that other people using other services other than the government sort of backed services backed by Athena, which I hear is backed by Bukele's brother, it's a great experiment, and every good dictator is a good dictator to start off with, because they make good decisive decisions, and then before you know it, they get paranoid and they start having to kill people, and then that's when dictators go bad, and we've seen it happen before in history. So I'm not saying he's a dictator, but his pullback on the democratic process in El Salvador has been quite worrying. And yes, he's mandated Bitcoin, but it's exactly as we would expect a state to mandate Bitcoin. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully he won't cause too much trouble for us as Bitcoiners.
And we had our own kind of micro dictator already in Bitcoin with Ross Ulbricht and the Silk Road. He went down the same path. First, he was great. Everyone's like, DPR is a hero. I love his political, philosophical speeches. Then he achieved power, had millions of dollars going through the system. Then, like Ben said, he gets paranoid. People are tracking him. He's going to have to kill that guy. And then he agrees to kill that guy. Even if it was a setup and a hoax, he still had those kind of dictatorship power leanings. And then it completely fails and he ends up in prison. Oh, spoiler alert for Bukele. We're running out of time. Let's go to Josh Shigala. And one more thing on the Chiva wallet. It's just such an obvious scam that they're like, we're going to do Bitcoin, but then we're going to do our own wallet. And we'd really prefer if you locals would use our own wallet, and all our advertising is going to go to our own wallet. And then all the back doors are going to go to our own wallet. But Ben says they had wrapped cars. So I think it's fine. Like the cars were wrapped. Joshua Shigala.
I do want to visit El Salvador one day, so I won't go too hard on the guy.
Wrapped cars. Think about the wrapped cars.
But look, the thing is, politics. Like Martin said it well. Politics, Bitcoin and politics doesn't rub well together. It's code is code. Politics is a bunch of people, bunch of bullies trying to make other people live the way that they think you should live. And that's the end of it. Bitcoin is always going to just keep on going. It doesn't matter what the politics do. Look, and you said before, Bitcoiners should choose better. They can't choose. People choose Bitcoin. Bitcoiners don't choose where it goes. That's the beauty of it. And so, let the cards fall where they're made. And I think, as far as Bitcoin goes, let's see what happens. Let's see what they do with this protocol. It's a free and open source protocol. Let's see what they do with it. Hey, I'm already hearing murmurs that Tonga wants to do it, wants to legalize it. So next up, Tonga, another great, that's an island. It's nice. It's less dictatorship, and let's see, nice little island country. So whatever. Bitcoin just keeps on going.
Well, I mean, if it's going to help us get Tonga on board, well, then I changed everything I said. Now. But let's move on to the exit question. Exit question: force prediction in 5 years. Bitcoiners will be embarrassed or excited about their El Salvadorian adventure. Arthur Van Pelt, embarrassed or excited?
I expect excited. Yeah.
Excited, going to Martin Wishmayer. Excited or embarrassed, Martin?
And neither. I found people have a very, very short memory span. Sometimes I think, I'm living with flies that just don't remember anything. Anything that happened 5 years ago in Bitcoin, most of the people I know have already forgotten. 5 years in Bitcoin is like a lifetime elsewhere.
The entire El Salvadorian experiment, the beautiful leather-clad suitcase, the hardware wallet, all forgotten. Dan, Eve, excited or embarrassed?
Because it's 5 years, I'm going to go with excited because it's that 4-year rule that if you held Bitcoin for 4 years at any period in history, you're up. So they're going to be up, and therefore it's going to be exciting. But I think it was Ben that said something about when dictators go bad, and I suddenly thought of like a new American show. It's called like When Dictators Go Bad, and hopefully Bukele's not featured on that.
Sounds like The Bachelor. It starts out good. He's very romantic. He wants to live with you forever, and then suddenly goes bad. Let's go to the Frankfurt crew. Excited or embarrassed in 5 years?
I think 5 years, hopefully it'll all just be, some irrelevant moment in history where it went bad for a while, but you know how quickly Bitcoin moves and how quickly the news cycle moves, that we would have gotten over by the embarrassment stage by 5 years. Maybe in a couple of years we'll be embarrassed by the dictator dude, but I think within 5 years we would have forgotten about it, and a lot of the world will be on Bitcoin.
Can I please about
Of course you can.
Transistors, because I think transistors are changing lives. And if you remember the C64, Commodore C64, yeah. I mean,
I remember.
Yeah, it killed so many. How much homework did you not do because of that?
I nearly wore my Commodore 64 hat actually for this show, but I went for the block rewardings.
Okay.
We just copied software on it.
The computing power is, I think, it's just changing lives.
Yeah.
But
there's nothing we can do. We better organize.
With Peek and Poke, we changed the future.
I remember one time I was at a sleeping party or a sleepover, and I ignored the VHS copy of the movie Ghostbusters to play with the Commodore 64.
Wow.
Joshua
Well,
Segala, embarrassed or excited? I'm hearing a lot of people saying exciting or forgetting.
I think people just won't care. They'll be excited about the next big thing.
I like Dan's answer. After the halvening, who cares? It's all about the halvening. Moving on to the next issue. WCN Clips. Check out the WCN Clips channel on YouTube at WCN Clips. We've got all the clips of the WCN, and you can subscribe. Be one of the first 100 subscribers, and you get access to all of the clips on WCN Clips YouTube channel just for subscribing. It's free. It's just that easy. Check this out. I was looking through our archive, and I saw we had a tag for Arkansas, so I wanted to play this from 2017. This is from November of 2017 from the Today in Bitcoin news podcast on the World Crypto Network.
Arkansas sheriff mines Bitcoin in cybercrime prevention initiative. He's also wasting energy and wasting government money. Although the sheriff has a good plan, saying that he needs virgin Bitcoins directly from the mine, eventually criminals will figure it out, and his massive plan will be worthless. He may as well just buy Bitcoins on Coinbase like everybody else.
And that was the last time we talked about Arkansas on this show. And now we're back again to talk about Arkansas. Yes, Northwest Arkansas is offering $10,000 in Bitcoin and a bike if you will relocate to what I'm sure is one of the armpits, that says assholes of the world, Northwest Arkansas. Martine Wishmayer, $10,000 in Bitcoin and a bike. Will you move to Arkansas?
Yeah, sorry, no offense to our viewers, but I wouldn't even want to walk my dog there.
Why? What?
I mean, does my mobile phone even work there? It's not really part of modern America, is it?
Crushing start for Arkansas. No doubt Martine has read Where the Red Fern Grows, and he's worried about how his coon hounds might make it out in those Arkansas hills. Dan, Eve, are you moving to Arkansas? $10,000 and a bicycle.
Well, you learn something new every day. So Arkansas is that's it's not Arkansas.
People are counting down in the chat to whether I screw up and call it Arkansas, which clearly is how it's spelled, but it's Arkansas.
Because I always wondered since hearing it on Young Guns, Arkansas Dave Rudeberg or whatever his name. I think that's a pretty cool scheme, like $10,000 in Bitcoin and a bike. But aren't they really oversubscribed? They've got like 50,000 like applicant or 150,000 applicants or something. But I noticed that the most interesting thing about that, because everyone's, the end thing is to offer a bit of Bitcoin to coax people in nowadays, that STEM is now Steam. But like the problem is with STEM being Steam is that isn't STEM like a bit, more objective, and then adding an A in there for art is a bit subjective, right? So like, it's STEM stuff's more sciencey, right? Science, tech, education, and maths.
I thought the problem with
engineering and maths.
changing STEM to Steam is that everything just goes up in smoke.
There you go. Maybe that's it.
Yeah,
but I think it's a cool thing, right? That they're offering Bitcoin, and it obviously shows that it coaxes people in. Whether they offered $10,000 in fiat or Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin makes it more appealing and makes it seem more tech centric. So I think it's a cool idea to try and coax people in and fill some seats.
I think we might have to negotiate on the bike, though. It's not really an American thing. Can't they give out a motorbike? This is America. I want a motorcycle. Let's go to Frankfurt. $10,000 and a bike. Are you moving to Arkansas?
Where's the Bitcoin from? Is it from seizures, from money they've taken from gangsters and stuff?
I'm sure it's from the sheriff who's been mining it all these years.
Oh right, I see. I'm sorry. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the beginning of the article, at the beginning.
I mean, he's buying it at Coinbase. I'm sure
he's all buying it at Coinbase. You took your advice and bought it at Coinbase. Now they've got fat stacks. I mean, is this what you have to do to get people to move to Arkansas? Is it? Is that kind of place?
It's starting to catch on.
It's that kind of place.
Well, I mean, go get the money, cold, wait 5 years, retire. It's not bad policy.
It's near the Ozarks. That's where the series on Netflix is from. It's it's a tutorial on money laundering, basically.
It's where they filmed the movie Deliverance, and I quote, "That boy sure does have a purty mouth." Joshua Shigala, are you moving to Arkansas and going on a camping trip, maybe a hunting trip?
10K Bitcoin. That's pretty good. Stacking the sats. I don't know. Depends if they mandate medical procedures. That's more the thing for me right now.
Oh yeah, our buddy Jimmy's got both kind of shots. He's got the ones that go in the car, and he's got them other kind of shocks on his bicycle. They've got both shocks here. Arthur Van Pelt, are you moving to Arkansas? You're from the Netherlands. A bicycle is obviously an enticement for you.
Yeah. I will send in my resume, and I think they will send me $10,000 in Bitcoin and a bike to keep me here in Holland.
They're going the other way with this promotion. It's gone all wrong. So I don't think anyone's going to move to Arkansas or even Arkansas. So good luck with that. Apologies to our one viewer in Arkansas. Moving on to the next issue, issue 4. Rio de Janeiro to allocate 1% of its treasury reserves to crypto. The Brazilian city also plans to give discounts on tax payments made with Bitcoin. Miami, Rio de Janeiro, and now more. Mayors of the world are rushing ahead with plans to hold their city's funds in Bitcoin. This sounds like a great idea. I'm sure nothing can go wrong. Let's go to Ben Ark and the Frankfurt crew. What do you think about the new trend of cities investing in Bitcoin?
I mean, it's a good portfolio policy to have a couple of your percent of your portfolio in a volatile asset, which could increase in a lot of value. So I think that it's just good portfolio management on their part, and then hopefully other countries and states and whatever else will follow suit. It's a good idea.
But then again, we have two central banks. Do they have even one?
I prefer cities that invest in tech stocks. That's the only city that I'd want to live in. Joshua Shigala, should cities be investing in Bitcoin?
Yeah, everyone should be. I wouldn't even call it investing. I would just say start purchasing assets outside of the Federal Reserve system. It's more of just a protection against your ridiculous Fed.
Gambling, investing, Martine Wishmayer, should the cities be buying Bitcoin?
No, in my opinion, no city should even invest in anything. You know, this is taxpayers' money. They should just spend it back on the city. They shouldn't be investing with our money. You know, we pay taxes on this. Why do we pay taxes? To get the road fixed, to get the street lights on. And they're investing it in what? In Bitcoin. Who do you think they are? You know, some people call it portfolio. It's not a portfolio. It's our taxpayer money, and they should not be investing it.
Oh, but instead of one road, we could get 5 roads. Come on, think of the possibilities. Of course, I guess we could also get half a road, or
we we stay stuck with the same broken, like, you know, roads and no street lights as we've always had. No, cities. That's really. I think, you know, it's tax. They get taxpayer money, and for that, they spend it, and they spend it back onto the city. If they need more money, they increase the taxes. But they're not supposed to be like, you know, keeping reserves and put it in Icelandic bank accounts. And what happened in the past in Amsterdam, you know, the city of Amsterdam just invested in iSafe because they got a nice interest there. What? My taxpayer money in Iceland? Why? You know, they just should fix the roads and, you know, make sure that we finally have fiber there. You know, no. Cities should not be investing, and they should not be investing, definitely not investing in anything. So no Bitcoin, sorry. Other than that, Bitcoin is a good investment.
See, folks, this is what happens when you steal money from the citizens to get. This is how angry people get when you do something with the money that you steal.
Yeah, it's you know, it's taxation is theft. You know, people say that, but it's not really theft if they're giving it back, you know, just a little bit. But then it's like, but they shouldn't start investing it. I mean, that's bloody ridiculous. It's our money.
It's not theft if you get a road. And as we all know, if they can't afford to build the roads, the libertarians will happily build the roads for you. They're great people. They love to volunteer all the time, just helping out their communities.
We love roads and personal transportation.
And Eve, who will build the roads in these cities that have squandered all their money on Bitcoin and maybe some Dogecoin, maybe some speculative investment, maybe get some tech stocks? I don't know. It's all there.
Well, I think good point about it not necessarily being investment. It's a logical move out of a sinking ship of fiat, like to a certain extent. But the fact is that, you know, they are gambling because it could go up, it could go down, and you're leaving you know, the decision of when to sell that Bitcoin in the hands of someone in the government, and the government can't be trusted with anything. And even if the Bitcoin did go up lots, it doesn't mean that that's going to end up going back into the infrastructure. So you could end up having money that's been invested in Bitcoin funneled through a load of you know, secret handshake companies, and then you've still got shit roads. So it's that unfortunately probably is what's going to happen. But at the same time, I think it is cool that they're giving a 10% discount if you pay your taxes in Bitcoin in Rio de Janeiro. So that seems quite kind of cool. And maybe their 1% of the Treasury isn't going to come from buying the Bitcoin, but from holding the Bitcoin that's being paid in the 10% of the taxes. The people, sorry, not the 10% of the tax. The Bitcoin is coming from the people who are paying their taxes in Bitcoin, who are getting a 10% discount. So yeah, it's a cool thing. I think ultimately allowing people to pay their taxes in Bitcoin, but whether that Bitcoin is going to be sold at the right time or kept or whatever, or it's going to go and funnel into other people's hands is another story.
They've got one of those triangle guys on it. They're going to make sure they sell at the right time. And it's just like it said in the Bible, give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. Unless they pay in Bitcoin, then give them a 10% discount. Arthur Van Pelt, your thoughts on the exciting trend of cities accepting Bitcoin?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, I just listened to Martin's little rant, and yeah, I can feel his. I know what he means, but it's not how it works in a city. I mean, if you have a road of like 10 million, then in 10 years, it should be replaced for, let's say, another 10 million. So you build a budget, 1 million a year from your tax money, and you allocate it for that road. And you try to save that somewhere in an account. And putting that in Bitcoin, I think, is a good idea. And I would even go as far as 1% is probably an allocation for ants, if you ask me.
Oh, it's far too small. Let's go on to the exit question. Which city could be worldwide? Any city will accept Bitcoin next, and will it be a rich city or a poor city? Ben and the Frankfurt crew.
Well, I mean, you did say we've got there's 2 central banks here, so
I
they've got their fingers on the
didn't
pulse.
really. What exactly is the question?
Who will be the next city to accept Bitcoin for tax?
For
Any
taxes?
city, yeah, any city.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Or to
going to be
invest.
like a boring Swiss city.
Switzerland's good bet.
That's what it says right here on the card. It says boring Swiss city. Joshua Shigala, what city will accept Bitcoin next?
Yeah, I'll definitely go with boring Swiss city for sure. I think, the Swiss have always been up for the next thing.
I went to a city in Switzerland, but I don't know if it was the boring one. Martine Wishmayer, what city will accept Bitcoin next?
Pass.
Pass. That's not a city. Dan Eve, name a city.
Well, I reckon Pete McCormack's now that he's in the Bedford club, he's going to infiltrate the government in Bedford Council, and they'll accept Bitcoin. Although, sadly, even though Bedford's actual website says a guide to the city and calls itself a city, Wikipedia calls it a large market town.
I thought you were going to say Pete McCormack has his own cities now, and I was going to believe it, but I guess he just has a small market town. Arthur Van Pelt, what city will accept Bitcoin next?
Yeah, my hope is the city where I live rather close to is The Hague. We had the reputation of being one of the first cities with a street, I think, accepting Bitcoin, and now we should get the whole city to accept Bitcoin.
The correct answer is Detroit. Yes, Detroit, a very poor city, will accept Bitcoin next, offering discounts and all kinds of excitement. That is right up until they launch Detroit Coin, and it's a stinker. It goes the opposite of the moon, wherever that is, negative moon. Moving on to our bonus issue, issue 5. Matt Damon ripped over cringe-worthy crypto commercial. Yes, my favorite commercial on TV, the Crypto.com commercial. Some have described as Matt Damon walking through a virtual museum as he learns that fortune favors the brave and that everyone should invest in Bitcoin. As some of the commenters here in the New York Post say, let's see if I can get down to it. They say the saddest thing about Matt Damon's macho baiting crypto pitch, where the viewer must act now or he's a weak pussy, is that it's a top 3 classic pitch in all financial schemes have used to goad men into forking over their paltry savings. Tweeted journalist Adam H. Johnson, nothing has changed in 150 years. Another Twitter user snarked, are you going to put your life savings into the pretend computer dog money that you can't spend? Or are you a pussy? Dan Eve, your thoughts on Matt Damon's incredible Crypto.com commercial that's been playing in football, baseball, probably the Super Bowl. It's just been everywhere, but people don't like it. What do you think?
Well, in fairness, the second Twitter comment about the are you going to put your money in a dog coin that people can't spend? If you come from like loads of different countries that have their own currency, you probably can't spend that in many places on the internet. Whereas you could actually use Dogecoin to pay for a lot of things right now around the world, even though it's not a good thing. Blah blah blah. But no, obviously the
remember we sort of mocked it.
At the time that it came out, with the sort of the ship comes in and all that, and it's very kind of eventful. But I think that anyone who's not kind of into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general is they're kind of a bit sour about it, aren't they? They're all a bit sour, and so that did have a general sour tone. it's probably quite, I wouldn't say like it is a bit pretentious, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's you need something a bit more honorable to represent Bitcoin, right? It needs to be something that's more kind of factual, but it did kind of stoke the imagination. It was a kind of nice imaginative advert. Yeah, doesn't float everyone's boat though.
Oh, come on. It's Goodwill Hunting himself. There's a female black Satoshi who's going to the moon in a spaceship. I watched this commercial. I don't think I could have directed it better myself. Arthur Van Pelt, your thoughts about Matt Damon and the internet's reaction to his Crypto.com commercial.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't see it. I'm not a fan of Crypto.com. I see them explode everywhere. I mean, I was with my son in Zandvoort last year at the Formula One races, and they even had their advertorials there. So yeah, it's probably a big organization. But to be fair, I have no opinion. I don't know them. So yeah.
We'll see if we can play the commercial. We did play it previously here on the Bitcoin group. It is an incredible work. Just a truly great commercial. Here we go. We're going to play it.
You only like it because it's like a museum.
It's like a museum.
That's so spot on, Josh.
Here it is, Matt Damon.
History is filled with almosts, with those who almost adventured, who almost achieved, but ultimately, for them it proved to be too much. Then there are others, the ones who embrace the moment and commit. And in these moments of truth, these men and women, these mere mortals, just like you and me, as they peer over the edge, they calm their minds and steel their nerves with 4 simple words that have been whispered by the intrepid since the time of the Romans. Fortune favors the brave.
Again, just totally speechless. What a masterwork. Even better, I think, on the computer if the headphones with the full sound, the little seagulls when he walks by the boat. Just what a masterwork. Except for that last line, I would do fortune favors the bold rather than the brave. Let's go, Arthur. Now that you've seen the commercial, you're blown away. You're a Matt Damon fan.
Totally. Yeah, let's be fair. The editorial is really not bad and probably will reach the audience that it is for, and will bring some new people to crypto. But as far as I know, Crypto.com is a more generic place, not a Bitcoin only place. So I hope people will also look at Bitcoin and not at all the altcoins. Yeah, I can only hope.
And as we've discussed previously, the commercial just completely celebrates Bitcoin traders, people who bought Bitcoin, hodlers, pretty much everyone in this industry. And it says that you were the smart ones. You were the Wright brothers. You were the guy about to kiss the girl on the dance floor. All of that. That's you. Ben Ark, the Frankfurt crew. What do you guys think of the incredible Crypto.com advertisement?
I mean, it was I mean, I think it's quite an old advertisement. I mean, me and Roman were talking about it. I swear I saw it like 3 or 4 months ago when they released it for Crypto.com. But whether now they've got the funds to kind of roll it out to all the baseball games and things. I mean, yeah, it's for the audience. It's built for a particular audience, and they're going to watch it. And these Hollywood stars, they're to the highest bidder. If you had enough money, you could get him to get Matt Damon to do all sorts of things for you. Matt Damon.
And I just look at it and I don't think there's anything they could have done better. I love all the examples. I like the little joke about the dance.
We did say that it was quite, like technically it's a good advert. Like when the astronauts, they step on that grid thing, and how it is, it's unnerving as a human. One of the guys was saying, like, as a child, when you step on those grid things, it kind of gives you like a little bit of fear, and things like well put together. So clearly Crypto.com are doing very well for themselves. And from what I've seen, they offer a good service, and people seem to like their cards and stuff they do. So,
And what's great is I'm told that I don't think Matt Damon even had to leave his house for this video. He's got a green screen room. He walked through his house, through his empty garage with green screens up everywhere. And they're like, oh, done. Piece of cake, guys.
Really?
All right.
No.
Josh Shigala, your thoughts on the commercial? Did we ask everybody yet?
Well, the thing is that I'm just waiting for Craig Wright to sue that black woman for actually saying she's Satoshi, and maybe even also crypto.com, because I mean she's saying she's Satoshi. Like, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Very clearly, this could be a target of fake Satoshi's ire, his anger at this actor being called Satoshi. Let's see. Martine Wishmayer, your thoughts on the incredible crypto.com commercial? Truly the greatest commercial.
I think it's slick. Crypto.com had a bit of a bad start at the time because they were the Monaco, ICO thing. And then they changed to CRO, and they diluted basically the equity that people had in their Monaco tokens. So they had a bad start, but I use them actually on a daily basis, primarily for the debit card. And I think the company itself is everything Coinbase wanted it. Coinbase thought they would be. So anything Coinbase isn't, the card works. As Arthur pointed out, yes, it's a shitcoin circus. The entire place is just loaded with all these different coins. But so is Coinbase, and they have so many more options than Coinbase. But they give cash back on purchases. They have all these things. They've got these missions to explore the app. I think they're cool, and to a point that they support so many countries that in many countries where you can't get a Coinbase account, you can get a Crypto.com account. So we're now building support for the Crypto.com exchange in both the general Byte ATMs and in the Every Trade IO portfolio app. Because they're just they're so big, it's hard to ignore them. And yes, slick advertisements. I mean, if you can get Matt Damon to talk about crypto and the brave, and then be the brave, buy some crypto at crypto.com. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's just slick. I don't know how they will fare in the future. I think they're spending an awful lot of money on advertising, and I hope it just works out for them. I really do. But at first I thought, it was a bit mystery company because I didn't know where they were really located. But I read a bit about it. It's founded by a Polish guy who basically grew it into what it is now. So yes, this is the forget Coinbase, Crypto.com is the one to watch as an exchange. So yeah, a cool advertisement. Yeah.
Martine brings up a good point that I think we'll use for the exit question, because really this commercial should have been Coinbase's. Coinbase is on the stock market. Coinbase has all this money. They have Brian Armstrong. Maybe they would have done a more Doge-friendly commercial, more like you guys are saying, like walking into the casino or something like that. But they dropped the ball. They let this little engine that could Crypto.com take all the air, as well as FTX taking all the air. FTX sponsored the Miami Heat arena. That's going to be the FTX arena. Crypto.com sponsored the Los Angeles arena, Staples Center. It's going to be the Crypto.com arena. Coinbase, they sponsored the backboards at basketball games. So you can see their name on the screen all the time, but it's not very glamorous, and it's not like a Matt Damon commercial. And now in the exit question, I'm going to ask you, Dan, Eve, which actor or celebrity or famous person would you like to see in the next Bitcoin commercial? Maybe we can even do some brainstorming for Coinbase. Maybe a schizophrenic guy has a hard time choosing what coin to buy. Something like that might fit their past here. Who should be in the next famous Bitcoin commercial?
Well, for a split second towards the end of that one, I thought Matt Damon was going to say those 4 words muttered throughout history: buy shitcoins here now. But he didn't. But I think I reckon Morgan Freeman, he could do a really good really kind of flamboyant, eventful, massive, budget blowing Bitcoin advert. I'd like to see Morgan Freeman doing an advert. Yeah.
Morgan Freeman's a good pick. Arthur Van Pelt, who would star in your favorite Bitcoin commercial?
Yeah, of course, the biggest meme in Bitcoin, the people, the actors from the Matrix. I would like to see them in an editorial for Bitcoin, please.
That would be great. Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss. They recently did a great interview where they were told that the new Matrix has NFTs, and I think they laughed out loud. So maybe they're Bitcoiners. Let's go to the Frankfurt crew. Actor, famous person. Who would you like to see in the next Bitcoin commercial?
Yeah. I don't know, Ben Kingsley. I mean, it's always the answer to most requests for an actor, if I can summon one, but...
So if you know, no, like Thomas Müller from the Bavarian Munich club. Okay.
He's an actor.
No. If it's ever going to happen, it will be a thing.
Well, it's out there right now. Coinbase, pick up and call Thomas Miller from the Bavarian club. Sounds like a good one. Also like Ben's idea, Ben Kingsley, although I don't know if it's going to be Gandhi or that guy who was screaming from Sexy Beast, but I like both of them. Joshua Shigala, name your celebrity. Who will be in
it's got to be Mad Bitcoins, of course. It's got to be Mad Bitcoins. Mad.
See, now I'd like that because it would be a surprise to them. It wouldn't be a famous
But Mad Bitcoins isn't an actor, so it's kind of, you know.
Well, you know.
Blasphemy. I'll take their money.
He acts on YouTube. That's acting.
Very much the same. I can do the Matt Damon commercial. I've seen it a bunch of times. I would just say fortune favors the bold. Martine, who's in your Bitcoin commercial?
I think it must be George Clooney because he made Nespresso big, so he will make Bitcoin big. And you know, once George Clooney is in there, my mom will start buying on crypto.com.
We do have some more options here for Coinbase because we know you guys are only going to work 3 weeks a year or something. You're taking a week off. You got a lot of stress there at Coinbase, hiring all those people. We could also go with Bill Nye, maybe the ghost of Carl Sagan. You could get a hologram. That'll get a lot of hate. I know Coinbase likes that. Neil deGrasse Tyson would be a good one. Maybe some diversity for Coinbase. I remember everything. But I'd also like to see Johnny Depp. And I'd like to see him doing Hunter S. Thompson's from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas about Bitcoin and about one of these exchanges and just being totally crazy the whole time. Get Terry Gilliam to direct it and do a Fear and Loathing takeoff. That's who I would go with. But we're running out of time on this issue. Josh Shigala, do you have a prediction? Go ahead. We're doing predictions. Then we'll go around and do stories of the week. Go ahead, Josh.
I didn't have anything.
No prediction. Martine Wishmayer, do you have a prediction? You're going to let the Bitcoin ball be the only one?
No. I do have a prediction, and I have a story of the week. The story of the week is that we'll be going to Bitcoin 2022. We have 2 stands there, one for every trade.io, the accounting package, and one for our ATMs, generalbytes.com. And because of that, we are like loaded with access tickets. So we will be giving away access tickets to Bitcoin 2022. And we hope to see you there because it's going to be a really, really, really big party. Oh, and the prediction, price movement will go up and down, but don't let it freak you out. By the time Bitcoin 2022 is, our favorite president, I might say, from El Salvador will be there, and he will be talking up the price. So yes, the price will be up somewhere in the spring. So don't worry about it. That's my story of the week. Sorry, prediction.
I'm impressed that guy can still travel. Oh, too soon. Dan, Eve, prediction, story of the week. Go ahead.
Okay, so my story of the week was that I was correct in predicting there would be a Bitcoin hash rate all-time high, which was achieved. Well, it was actually just over a week ago, but I wasn't on the show last week. And my prediction, incredibly out of the blue, is going to be that there is another Bitcoin hash rate all-time high very soon, because we're pretty much teetering on the edge now, about 204 exahashes. So, yeah, I think it's going to be pumping soon. And you know what follows the hash rate?
All the women. Dan,
it is.
Dan keeps predicting the hash rate will rise right up until somebody knocks over a rack of miners. Arthur Van
It's
Pelt.
actually Cheech and Chong getting mixed up. It's not that kind of hash, guys. Go back.
The wrong kind of hash. Arthur Van Pelt prediction, story of the week. Maybe what's going on with fake Satoshi. What's going on, Arthur?
Yeah, let's stick to my my field, my expertise, my big hobby. For me, the story of the week was a little bit of twofold. Craig Wright lost in one of the lawsuits. In fact, it was the pineapple hack case against the Bitcoin developers. And he has now to put in a security deposit. And that is probably substantial. I'm thinking 1, maybe 2 million that he now has to deposit, because if he is losing the case, then he has to pay the developers. But he is running the show from the Tulip Trust, and one of the entities in the Tulip Trust is the Tulip Trading Limited company, which is a Seychelles company, but it's completely empty. It was already called out by ATO, doesn't exist, doesn't have any assets. Court Florida also said, no, we cannot find any evidence of this Tulip Trust. So no files, no assets, nothing. So yeah, of course, the lawyers of those Bitcoiners were getting very careful. If you're trying to sue us from an empty shelf company without anything, how are you going to pay us when you are losing this case? And he's going to lose the case, if you ask me. But okay, they are already preparing for that. So now he has to put in a security deposit. But as a little side note, at the end of that ruling, it was hilarious to find that they also, Craig made a point that, hey, you're not addressing me as Dr. Wright, because that is how his lawyers, his counsel, made the mistake from the beginning to call him just, I think, Craig Wright or Craig Stephen Wright or something. And he wanted to have that corrected because he wanted to be addressed as Dr. Wright. And the judge said, nah, I'm not going to rule about that. Sorry, we're not going to call you Dr. Wright. And oh, that was so hilarious. So now my prediction for the upcoming year is not about the Bitcoin price. It's again, Craig Wright related. Over the years, we've seen him doing several what we call Nigerian Prince advance fee scams on Calvin Air. That started already with the bailout when he needed the money to flee from Australia. He used a forgery, a paper wallet forgery, with the one Feeks address, the Mt. Gox hack address. And we've seen him loaning money with the Tulip Trust as a backup, and etc. So my prediction is that we will see to get to the 100, no, more like 150 million that he needs to pay Ira Kleiman. We will see him do another advance fee scam this year. So
he's going to have to give Calvin Air another lap dance.
Yeah, something like that. But we can also seriously, what we can also see happen is, of course, that this guy is now, he's running on his last legs, if you ask me. I mean, the ATO is doing a criminal inquiry against him. They are now chasing him for, if Judge Bloom is now also ruling for the interest, another 43 million will be added to the 100 million. So I'm pretty sure that the climate lawyers will start chasing him for assets that he doesn't have. The ATO will try to take him from the street and put him in jail in Australia at some point when they finish their inquiry, which is a criminal inquiry, what they are doing on him. So yeah, he might flee to Antigua. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, if they don't have 100 million, you may as well ask them for 150 million. You know, why not? Joshua Shigala, do you have a story of the week? We'll go back to Josh before we go out to Frankfurt. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I really don't. I started back at work this week, so I'm just catching up with emails. I had a really nice digital detox where I just didn't look at anything. I haven't had a holiday really in 3 years, so it was lovely just to turn off and not deal with much. And now I'm just back at it. We had a really great AMA on our Discord, and yeah, things are back on. 2022, here we go.
All right, check it out at thestandard.io. All right, Ben and the Frankfurt crew, prediction, story of the week, what's going on out there?
Well, story of the week is, and the reason why I and my esteemed colleagues are here is we've been partying pretty hard. So I don't know if you can tell, but we've been partying pretty hard because we're excited because we've been talking about obviously in Europe and in America we have access to a lot of electronics, so we can make DIY hardware things like nodes and Bitcoin points of sale or whatever else. But in El Salvador they don't really have that, so we've been trying to discuss ways of making that possible for El Salvador people to have access to that. So we've been talking about sort of a hack space potentially being developed in El Salvador, and at the same time we've used as an excuse to extend like the LNURL POS project. So now instead of having to like hard code the details in, you can launch like an access portal, and then you can put the details into your mobile phone, which means you can make these things and just sort of give them out to people, and then they can code them up themselves. And we've got we'll be releasing that as a tutorial and workshop and everything on World Crypto Network, of course. So that's been exciting. But yeah, I've been hanging out with, thank you, Roman. Roman's been hosting me, which is very nice. The last time I saw Roman and Jay here, we were in El Salvador, and these two crazy guys are going to be going back there soon to help build some of this stuff. So I think it's important, like we were talking before about how the Chivo wallet, and Athena, and all this stuff. It's important that we go and show people there's in Bitcoin we have all this wonderful free and open source infrastructure and architecture which people can get access to, but they need to sort of kind of be taught the tools to how to access them. And there's lots of really nice sort of business opportunities for local entrepreneurs and things to kind of spin up nodes and offer services, local businesses to shops and cafes and whatever else. So props to these guys for kind of, because I'm not going to be there, but organizing that stuff. And then I'm super excited about the points of sale project, the LNURL POS project, and the new release of that. Yeah, it's been great. And Frankfurt, beautiful city, and like Roman said, they have two central banks, which is bizarre. I'm yet to see them, but I suppose we should probably go there and do some guerrilla marketing of Bitcoin. I got some Bitcoin stamps. We could maybe throw some of those around or something. But yeah, so yeah. Looking forward to seeing what comes of all of this crazy hacking nonsense.
One more thing. I ordered my on AliExpress. I ordered all the parts to make my LNURL POS. Yes, exactly that one. And it takes forever. And my patience being very limited, I wanted to check if you can ask your seller if they can make some sort of stock in Europe, so that on AliExpress it shows up as 10-day delivery possible, because that would mean that we don't have to wait so long here in Europe, and we can just order more stuff basically, because it is a cool project and it's definitely worth the wait. But I've been waiting for 40 days for my parts to arrive, and I just can't wait. Sorry, Alex. Yeah, so yeah, ask the seller if he can get some European stock, so it's faster to order it in Europe on the AliExpress.
I guess it depends on kind of sales, and so far they've sold a couple of hundred units. I think they're up to 300 units or something now, which is very impressive for a Bitcoin project and for an electronics project. So, and it's kind of quite a diverse module and flexible as well. But it's a really good point. I'll mention it to them. I also heard that some of their 3D, because you can buy it with a 3D printed case, and I heard that's a bit shit. So if you order it, don't order it with a 3D printed case.
Oh, I ordered a full package. I just didn't want to have half of the experience. I just wanted everything in one.
You can't go out there without a case now with your Raspberry Pi all willy-nilly. Come on. And as Ben was saying...
Can I give you one quick shout out for Black Coffee, BCC. He's on Twitter. He's been designing some amazing cases for this project, like 3D printed cases, and they're all on the LNUR POS repo, so you can print them yourself. So, Martin, if you've got a 3D printer, just print those ones out yourself. You know.
Of course, I have a 3D printer. I mean, really.
Oh, who doesn't? I guess me. But as Ben was saying, other people we should give a shout out to. I saw this on Twitter. I thought it was fantastic. Folmo from the German Bitcoin Lightning crew out there in Berlin. He's in Botswana or he sent some gear down, and he's hooked up with Allocate, the Bitcoin lady, who we've done lots of interviews and talked to here on the World Crypto Network. And they're spreading Bitcoin and Lightning full nodes in Botswana, Africa. So very cool, FOMO, and very cool to see everyone spreading the word about the Lightning Network, El Salvador, Botswana, all over the world, Frankfurt, all the places. But I think it's pretty much time to end the show. We're running out of time. Thanks to everybody who joined us. Be sure to give us a thumbs up down below and push subscribe if you haven't already. It's a private show, but we're trying to tell people, trying to get the word out there. But that's about it for this week. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.